And a shocking move from the second-ranked tennis player in the world. And I'm talking about Naomi Osaka and this developing story. She has withdrawn from the French Open, announcing that today on social media. Osaka, who was fined $15,000 and threatened with further sanctions by the tournament for not speaking to the media yesterday, announced a couple of days ago before the start of the French Open she wouldn't attend mandatory media sessions, citing mental health concerns. She reiterated that in her powerful and candid statement today. It is long, but it is worth reading in its entirety. Here is what it says. Hey, everyone, this isn't a situation I ever imagined or intended when I posted a few days ago. I think now the best thing for the tournament, the other players, and my well-being is that I withdraw so that everyone can get back to focusing on the tennis going on in Paris. I never wanted to be a distraction. I accept that my timing was not ideal, and my message could have been clear. More importantly, I would never trivialize mental health or use the term lightly. The truth is, I've suffered long bouts of depression since the U.S. Open in 2018. I've had a really hard time coping with that. Anyone that knows me knows I'm introverted, and anyone that has seen me at the tournaments will notice that I'm often wearing headphones, as that helps dull my social anxiety. Though the tennis press has always been kind to me, I am not a natural public speaker and get huge waves of anxiety before I speak to the world's media. I get really nervous and find it stressful to always try to engage and give you the best answers I can. So here in Paris, I was already feeling vulnerable and anxious, so I thought it was better to exercise self-care and skip the press conferences. I announced it preemptively because I do feel like the rules are quite outdated in parts, and I wanted to highlight that. I wrote privately to the tournament apologizing and saying that I would be more than happy to speak with them after the tournament, as the slams are intense. I'm going to take some time away from the court now, but when the time is right, I really want to work with the tour to discuss ways we can make things better for the players, press, and fans. Anyway, hope you're all doing well, staying safe. Love you guys. I'll see you when I see you. So after Osaka withdrew, the president of the French Tennis Federation delivered this statement to the media without taking any questions.
First and foremost, we are sorry and sad for Naomi Osaka. The outcome of Naomi withdrawing from Roland Garros is unfortunate. We wish her the best and the quickest possible recovery. And we look forward to having Naomi in our tournament next year. As all the Grand Slams, the WTA, the ATP and the ITF, we remain very committed to all athletes' well-being and to continually improving every aspect of players' experience in our tournament, including with the media, like we have always strived to do.
Sort of ironic, right, that she was under fire for not taking questions from the media, and he did not take any questions from the media either. ESPN.com senior writer Howard Bryant joining us now. Howard, you are very dialed into professional tennis, as you are with most things. I know you've been following the story with Osaka closely. I've been watching what you've been tweeting. What do you make of how we arrived to this point of today, her deciding to withdraw from the tournament?
Well, I think it's a horrible, excuse me, I think it's just a horrible scene for everybody. I think everybody lost here, and I think that Naomi Osaka's mental health and her well-being is obviously the most important thing. I think we knew that this was going to be an incredibly important time period for her as a player. She does not play well on this surface. She had had difficulties playing on clay and on grass going forward. We also knew, too, that she's going to be defending her U.S. Open championship, and then also the Olympics are being held in her home country. And on top of all of that, we've got the year anniversary of what took place last year, with the anniversary of George Floyd, the anniversary of Jacob Blake, and her really being front and center as a national figure in the social justice movement. So she's under an enormous amount of pressure. And for the reaction for the Grand Slam board to essentially say, not only are we going to fine you and we're going to sanction you for this tournament, but all 4 Grand Slams are going to gang up on you and essentially tell you that we're going to suspend you from all the tournaments if you don't comply. There's a massive, massive overreach on their part. You simply just can't muscle people like this. You can't do this and still say that you care about the athletes.
Especially as these young athletes are starting to understand their power and their cachet, right? And Naomi Osaka not being in that tournament affects the French Open more than it affects Naomi Osaka at this point. I do want to talk about Serena, because after her first match at the French Today, HB, she had this reaction to what transpired with Osaka, and her comments are new here on SportsCenter.
I feel for Naomi. I feel like I wish I could give her a hug, because I know what it's like. Like I said, I've been in those positions. We have different personalities, and people are different. Not everyone is the same. I'm thick, other people are thin. So everyone is different, and everyone handles things differently. So, you just have to let her handle it the way she wants to, in the best way that she thinks she can. And that's the only thing I can say. I think she's doing the best that she can.
So in her statement today, HB, Osaka did reference that 2018 U.S. Open final where she beat Serena, who was in that argument. There was a lot of controversy. Of course, for most people, it was their first introduction to Naomi Osaka. Is there a solution, HB, to how we can work around the mental well-being and wellness of athletes and fulfilling media availability, which is also important?
Well, 100%, and I think that's why this is such a big deal that everybody lost here. Naomi Osaka lost. She's the #2 ranked player in the world. She is a great champion. She's won the last 2 Grand Slams. The fans lost. You don't get to see one of the best players in the world. And the tournament lost. You cannot tell me that this was the only option, that there was no way for every side here to be accommodated. I think there are plenty of different ways for the media to have its access to the athletes. I think there are plenty of ways to work around. I think one of the biggest things, and I had said earlier that I thought that both Naomi Osaka and the Federation had handled it poorly, simply because when these things go public, then everybody gets their backs up and they get into fight mode. I think that this had to be handled privately, and I think that behind closed doors, they need to sit down and figure a lot of these issues out, because this is a disaster. There was no reason for this to happen. And for Naomi Osaka, what she's really telling you is that winning that championship and the price of fame and all the greatness that's come with it is affecting her. You have to listen to these athletes when they say it. I know we all want to be them and we idolize them and all the money that they make and the endorsements and everything else, but she's giving you a message. And the French Federation and the 4 Grand Slams essentially did not listen to that message.
Self-care is a form of protest. Howard Bryant with the latest here on Naomi Osaka, who's decided to withdraw from the French Open. We've got much more on this topic coming up. Don't miss PTI's bonus topic with new reaction to her decision to withdraw from the French Open today, Ashley.
Yeah, developing story in the NBA today. Anthony Davis suffered a strained left groin and left yesterday's Game 4 near the end of the second quarter. You can see him falling to the ground there after a missed layup, and he was slow to get up. The Lakers then went on to lose to Phoenix, with the series now tied 2-2. A source told Adrian Wojnarowski that Davis will be day-to-day on his return. Here's Frank Vogel on AD.
Liston is questionable, but he's literally day to day. We're going to see how he feels tomorrow. We're going to treat it, overnight. Do everything we can to get it feeling better, and we'll see where he's at tomorrow. Every great competitor is going to be frustrated if they can't be in there. But I think he's shown an incredible amount of toughness the last 2 years, playing through injury. And we saw that the other night when his knee wasn't feeling all that great, and he said he's going to be out there no matter what. I just think that's who he is. He's a tough competitor that's going to play through stuff.
Yep, you heard there. It's not just the groin now. It was the knee before. And our NBA insider Adrian Wojnarowski here to add on to this. Woj, what more can you tell us about the outlook for Davis as the series now shifts back to Phoenix for Game 5 tomorrow?
Ashley, I'm hearing a lot of pessimism around Anthony Davis about his availability on Tuesday night for that really important Game 5 with Phoenix. Normally, this groin issue or this groin injury would be something that might keep you out 7 to 10 days. The hope is that he would return in this series. Obviously, there's going to be a Game 6, but right now, not a lot of optimism for him to play tomorrow in that Game 5, but he is yet to be ruled out. They'll see how he feels tomorrow in Phoenix.
Okay, how about another look at an injury news? Let's stay in the West with the Clippers. They evened up their series with the Mavs last night in Dallas, but Luka Doncic looked far from 100% healthy. He's dealing with that strained neck. How concerned are the Mavs with now that they have to go back to LA for Game 5 with their star now dealing with something too?
Actually, some good news on that front for Luka Doncic. I'm told that he's experienced some improvement today with that neck strain. And remember, he's got 2 days off before he's got to play again their Game 5 in their series that's also tied at 2. But they don't play again till Wednesday in LA. And so that gives Doncic 2 full days. He felt better today, I'm told, than he did last night in that game 4. And so there's certainly some optimism that he might be able to play with a little more comfort in that Game 5 and perhaps the rest of the series against the Clippers. Certainly Dallas needs him playing at a really high level to beat LA.
Yeah, with the Clippers really starting to step up in this series, which I think a lot of people didn't see coming, they certainly could use Luka and that magic that he's shown. Let's now talk about this issue that has become a continuous issue in the league, fan behavior during the playoffs. We now have new information today about the fan who threw a water bottle at Kyrie Irving after yesterday's Game 4 in Boston. He's a 21-year-old man from Massachusetts who is charged with assault and battery by means of a dangerous weapon. Here's what Kyrie and Kevin Durant had to say about the incident after the game.
It's too much, and it's a reflection on, us as a whole when you have fans acting like that. So, hopefully people learn their lessons from being banned for however many years of being arrested, but, it's always going to be an occasion.
Have some respect for the game, have some respect for these human beings, and have some respect for yourself. Your mother wouldn't be proud of you throwing water bottles at basketball players or spitting on players or tossing popcorn. So grow the up and enjoy the game. It's bigger than you.
Woj, this is the fourth notable incident involving fan behavior in these playoffs, and it is just the first round. 4 incidents in the first round. We've heard from the players. We've seen their outcry on social media. But what is the league's response to this behavior?
Well, listen, this is a great cause for concern for the NBA. First of all, players should not be subjected to this, but also it's overshadowing the playoffs. And so this is certainly a trend that the league wants very much to stop. I think individual teams do too. And you're seeing arenas, teams filing criminal charges against individuals. The man in Boston last night, they asked Trae Young in New York whether he wanted to file charges against or wanted charges filed against the man who spit on him at Madison Square Garden. The hope in the league is that kind of deterrent. Not just that you're going to get your tickets taken away or you're going to get banned from an arena, but that you're going to face criminal charges, that ultimately is going to stop this. It hasn't yet.
Such a shame. And as you heard Kevin Durant say, enjoy the game. Keyword game. This is a game, and these fans are just taking it to such a different level. Adrian Wojnarowski with the latest. Thank you.